You've been lied to your entire life, betrayed by your own senses. The comforting feeling of solid ground beneath your feet, the reliable firmness of the objects around you, it's all an illusion, a fantasy. The real world, the world of quantum physics, is nothing like what you experience. At the deepest level of reality, there is no solidity, no stability, no ground to stand on. But this is where physics gets strange. Stranger than most people ever dare to imagine. Because when you really look closely at the fabric of the universe, down at the scale of individual atoms and subatomic particles, the very notion of solid matter evaporates like a mirage. What you find instead are quantum fields, ethereal, fuzzy, shimmering fields of probability stretching across the cosmos, invisible to the human eye, yet more fundamental than the concrete objects we mistake for reality. These quantum fields are the true building blocks of the universe. Not solid particles, not tiny spheres of matter, but fluid-like waves of potential existence, constantly rippling, vibrating, flickering in and out of being, never entirely here, yet never entirely gone. And here's the part that should terrify you. Even in the deepest depths of empty space, these quantum fields are never truly still, never silent. They're always bubbling with energy, frothing with strange virtual particles that wink into existence and vanish again in the blink of an eye. The quantum vacuum is a wild, churning, restless place, more like a turbulent sea than a placid void. And this invisible quantum chaos is happening everywhere all the time, right under your feet, inside your own body. The ground you thought was solid is just a thin veneer over this seething quantum mayhem, a fragile crust over an ocean of uncertainty. Your solid surroundings are really more like an elaborate stage set, convincing from a distance, yet strangely insubstantial up close. So why does the world seem so stable to us? Why don't we sink through the floor into the quantum abyss? It's simply a matter of scale. We're too big, too clumsy, too zoomed out to register the ceaseless quantum buzz. Our dull senses can't capture the true, shimmering strangeness of the universe. Before we go any deeper, I need to ask you something. If you're here for comfort, this isn't the channel for you. But if you're here for truth, even when it's unsettling, take a second to support this mission. Hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what part of reality shocked you most. Every interaction tells the algorithm that depth matters more than distraction, and that thinking clearly still has value. If you want to keep tearing apart reality with me episode after episode, make sure you're following. We're just getting started. But make no mistake, the solidity you cling to is a convenient fiction, a white lie told by your limited human perspective. Once you see through it, once you glimpse the fizzing, fluctuating quantum reality beneath the mask, you can never go back. And this changes everything. This crisis of solidity shakes the foundations of our intuition. It forces us to question beliefs we once took for granted. If even the steadiest ground isn't truly steady, what can we depend on? What's really real? But that's just the start. Glimpsing the quantum world beneath our feet is like opening a crack in the cosmic egg, like peeking behind the curtain of a universe-sized Oz. And once you get that first unsettling peek, you start to wonder what else you've been missing, what other obvious truths might be mere mirages. In fact, the solidity illusion is just the first step down a rabbit hole of disturbing quantum revelations, a gateway drug to even headier ideas, ideas that make us question the nature of space itself, the passage of time, even the divide between past and future. What they don't tell you about the quantum fields underfoot is that they may hold the key to some of the deepest mysteries in physics. Mysteries like how space and time could emerge like a hologram from a two-dimensional quantum netherworld, or how black holes could be cosmic portals to strange new universes. But to grasp these mind-bending concepts, we first have to let go of our classical comfort blankets. We have to be willing to question everything we thought we knew about the basic fabric of reality, starting with our misguided faith in solid ground. And as unsettling as that sounds, it's also exhilarating, because discarding your belief in an objective solid world isn't a loss. It's a liberation, an invitation to experience the universe as it really is, a fluid cascade of shimmering quantum potentiality, solid one moment, ethereal the next. So buckle up. We're about to take a wild ride through the looking glass into a realm where matter melts into math, and the solid transforms into the spectral, a journey beyond the illusion of stability into the churning quantum heart of all things. But fair warning, there's no going back. Once you see the world through a quantum lens, solid ground will never feel quite solid again. And that's a good thing. If this odyssey into the shifting sands of quantum reality shook your trust in terra firma, follow the channel and share your vertigo. We're just getting started. So you've seen the truth. The ground isn't solid. Matter is mist. The universe is a shimmering dance of quantum ghosts masquerading as stable substance. But it gets even more disturbing, because once you accept that solidity is an illusion, you're forced to confront an even deeper question. What about space itself? Is the very stage on which we imagine matter standing just another quantum mirage? The idea might seem absurd at first. After all, so space feels like the most fundamental thing there is, the unchanging backdrop against which the drama of the cosmos unfolds, the eternal, immutable grid that defines notions like distance, shape, and size. But what if space is no more fundamental than solidity? What if it too is an emergent property, a kind of cosmic hologram projected out of a deeper, more primal reality? This is a dizzying notion at the heart of some of the most cutting-edge theories in physics. Theories that suggest that the 3D space we inhabit, the space we've built our entire classical worldview around, might be nothing more than a shadow, a projection, an illusion generated by something more fundamental, more fiendishly abstract. But how could this be? How could space, the very fabric of our experience, be just another trick of the quantum eye? To understand, Mom, we have to dive even deeper into the subatomic world. We have to confront the bizarre reality of quantum entanglement, the ghostly connection that seems to link particles across vast cosmic distances. You see, when particles become entangled, they lose their individual identities. They become part of a shared quantum state, a single ghostly entity that defies our classical notions of space and separation. No matter how far you stretch an entangled system, from millimeters to miles to the width of the universe itself, the particles maintain an eerie, intimate connection. They behave as one, even as classical space yawns between them. And this changes everything. Because if an entanglement is possible, if two particles can remain spookily connected across the vastest gulfs of space, then space itself can't be the whole story. There must be something more fundamental, more primary, from which the illusion of space emerges. This is the key insight behind theories like the holographic principle and quantum gravity. The radical notion that the 3D space we inhabit is just a kind of surface level projection, a hologram generated by the deeper, flatter reality of quantum bits. Just as the solidity of matter dissolves into the froth of quantum fields, the solidity of space itself may dissolve into a more abstract realm of pure quantum information, a 2D dance of ghostly qubits, weaving the illusion of depth and distance. And here's the part that should send a shiver down your spine. If space is emergent, then everything we thought we knew about the universe gets turned inside out. On concepts like locality, the idea that an object can only be directly influenced by its immediate surroundings start to break down. In a holographic universe, the true action is happening on a deeper level, a level where notions like here and there, near and far, melt into mathematical mist, a level where the quantum ghost danced behind the scenes steers everything, unbound by the classical strictures of space and distance. This is the reality that quantum gravity hints at, a reality where space is flattened into a shimmering brain of bits, and the true dynamics unfold in a realm beyond geometry. A reality where the phenomena we observe are just echoes, just shadows on the cave wall of a more fiendish, more abstract level of existence. But don't get too comfortable with that idea, because once you accept that space could be emergent, you open up a Pandora's box of even more unsettling possibilities. If space is just a projection, what about time? Is the flow of moments, the relentless tick of the cosmic clock, just another illusion generated by the churning quantum bits beneath? We'll confront that question next. But brace yourself, because the answer might just melt your mind. If this glimpse into the holographic heart of space shattered your fate in the firmament, follow the channel and share your existential vertigo. We're about to dive even deeper down the quantum rabbit hole. So the ground isn't solid. Space is a shimmering illusion. The stage of the universe is just a holographic dance of ghostly quantum bits. But it gets even stranger. Because once you start down this path, once you begin to question the fundamental firmament of reality, you can't help but wonder, what about time itself? Is the flow of moments, the relentless march from past to future, just another trick of the cosmic eye? The question might seem absurd at first. After all, time feels like the most inescapable thing there is. The metronome that sets the rhythm of the universe, the irreversible arrow that defines the very notion of cause and effect. But what if time, like space and solidity, is just another emergent property? Another illusion projected out of the timeless quantum netherworld. This is a dizzying notion at the frontier of modern physics. The idea that time as we experience it, the unidirectional flow from moment to moment, might be nothing more than a macroscopic mirage, a kind of cognitive shorthand for a reality that is fundamentally atemporal. But how could this be? How could time, the very warp and weft of our experience, be just another shadow on the quantum wall? To understand, we have to confront one of the deepest mysteries in physics, the nature of entropy and the second law of thermodynamics, the inexorable tendency of closed systems to become more disordered, more chaotic over time. In our everyday experience, entropy seems to define the arrow of time. The future is the direction of increasing disorder. The past is the direction of greater order and structure. A shattered glass doesn't spontaneously reassemble. A scrambled egg doesn't unscramble itself. But here's the thing. At the quantum level, the laws of physics are reversible. There's no intrinsic arrow of time, no fundamental distinction between past and future. A quantum system can evolve forwards or backwards with equal ease. So why do we experience time as a one-way street? Why does the macroscopic world seem to obey this strict entropic arrow when the quantum world knows no such distinction? The key, it turns out, may lie in the act of observation itself, in the mysterious process by which quantum possibilities resolve into classical outcomes, in the way our clumsy measurements and perceptions collapse the wave function and create the appearance of a definite time-bound reality. You see, every time we measure a quantum system, every time we force it to resolve into a definite state, we're essentially erasing information. We're taking a rich, complex, ambiguous quantum state and reducing it to a simple classical outcome. Now, in this loss of information, this collapse of quantum complexity into classical simplicity is intimately tied to the arrow of time. It's what gives the illusion of temporal flow, of moments marching in lockstep from past to future. But here's the thing. This collapse, this erasure of quantum information is subjective. It's a product of our limited classical perspective. The quantum realm itself is timeless, eternal. It exists in a state of pure possibility, where past and future are meaningless concepts. So what does this mean? It means that time as we know it, the relentless ticking of the cosmic clock, may be nothing more than a side effect of our limited perspective. A kind of perceptual illusion generated by our inability to grasp the true, timeless nature of quantum reality. In this view, the flow of time is not a fundamental feature of the universe. It's a kind of emergent property, a macroscopic mirage that arises from the interplay of quantum possibilities and classical observations. And this changes everything, because if time is emergent, if the arrow of moments is just a shadow cast by our limited perspective, then our entire conception of reality gets turned inside out. Concepts like causality, the notion that an effect must always follow its cause, start to break down. In a timeless quantum multiverse, cause and effect can get muddled. The future can influence the past, and the present can be a strange superposition of multiple histories. Even our cherished notion of free will, the idea that our choices in the present moment can shape the future, starts to look like a cosmic illusion. After all, and in a universe where time is emergent, where past and future are just flickering shadows of a deeper, timeless reality, what room is there for genuine choice and agency? These are the mind-melting implications of emergent time. The dizzying notion that the flow of moments, the very arrow of experience, might be nothing more than a mirage generated by our limited classical perspective on a fundamentally timeless quantum world. But buckle up. because we're about to take this mind-bending journey to the next level. We're about to confront perhaps the strangest, most unsettling implication of the emergent view of reality. The idea that the ultimate nature of the universe is pure, timeless, unstructured information, a boiling sea of quantum bits in which time, space, matter, and energy are just ripples, are just fleeting patterns in the primal information flux. And in this final chapter, we'll grapple with what this could mean for the nature of consciousness, for the mystery of the self, and for our place in the vast, churning, information-theoretic cosmos. If this glimpse into the timeless heart of reality shattered your faith in the cosmic metronome, follow the channel and share your temporal vertigo. The arrow of time was just another mirage, and we're about to confront the deepest illusion of all. So the ground isn't solid. Space is a hologram. Time is an illusion. The stage of the universe is just a shimmering dance of quantum information with no fundamental substance, no absolute flow of moments. But it gets even stranger. Because once you start to see reality through this lens, once you begin to glimpse the primal, information theoretic nature of the cosmos, you can't help but wonder, what does this mean for the nature of mind? For the mystery of consciousness itself? This is the final frontier of the quantum worldview. The dizzying notion that the phenomenon of mind, the inner world of subjective experience, might itself be an emergent property, a kind of epiphenomenon arising from the churning sea of quantum information that underlies reality. But how could this be? How could the richness of consciousness, the vivid hues of qualia, the palpable sense of I am, how could these things arise from the cold, abstract realm of quantum bits and probabilistic ghost states? The key, it turns out, may lie in the nature of information itself, in the way that patterns and correlations can give rise to higher order structures and emergent properties. You see, when you look at a human brain, that tangled knot of neurons and synapses, what you're really seeing is an immensely complex information processing system, a biological computer of staggering intricacy, ceaselessly crunching and churning the data of sensation and memory. And just as the complex dance of quantum fields can give rise to the illusion of solid matter, and just as the holographic interplay of quantum bits can weave the fabric of space and time, perhaps the intricate information flows of the brain can give rise to the panorama of conscious experience. In this view, the I that seems to inhabit our heads, the ghostly observer that drinks in the qualia of the world, is itself a kind of emergent mirage, a narrative fiction spun out of the tangle of information processing in the neural net. And this changes everything, because if consciousness is just an information phenomenon, if the self is just a story the brain tells itself, then the boundaries of I start to blur and dissolve. After all, in a universe that is fundamentally made of quantum information, where are the hard lines between mind and world, between inner and outer, between the observer and the observed? Perhaps, in some strange sense, it's all mind. Perhaps the cosmos itself is a kind of vast distributed consciousness, a sprawling network of information flow, in which our individual minds are just fleeting nodes, momentary eddies in the primal info stream. This is the ultimate endpoint of the quantum perspective. The dizzying notion that reality at its deepest level is a kind of information theoretic hologram, a shimmering dance of qubits in which matter, energy, space, and time are just surface phenomena, emergent properties of the more fundamental infodynamic that churns beneath. And in this strange holographic cosmos, the phenomenon of mind takes on a new and eerie significance. No longer a mysterious ghost in the machine, but something more like the inner essence of the machine itself. The dreaming of the universal information matrix. Of course, these are just speculations, wild, unproven conjectures at the bleeding edge of quantum theory and the science of mind. But they point to a new way of thinking about the nature of reality and our place within it. A view in which the solid, stable world of everyday experience is just a flickering shadow play, a macroscopic mirage conjured by the interplay of quantum ghosts and information flows. And in this view, on the great quest of science takes on a new and startling shape. No longer just the mapping of the outer world, but something more like the universe waking up to itself. Matter coming to know itself through the emergent miracle of mind and consciousness. This is a strange, eerie, beautiful possibility that quantum theory dangles before us. Not as a finished picture, but as an invitation to rethink everything we thought we knew about the nature of reality, to see the world anew, not as a collection of solid, separate things, but as a shimmering infoscape of quantum possibilities, and to recognize that, in some deep sense, the eye that peers out at this infoscape is not separate from it. That mind and world, observer and observed, are woven together in the primal quantum dance. So the next time you feel the solid ground beneath your feet, remember, it's just another flickering shadow on the quantum wall, another emergent mirage in the great holographic unfolding. And the real you, the deepest you, is something far more vast, far more strange. A node of consciousness in the cosmic info mesh. A fleeting pattern in the primal dance of qubits that weaves the fabric of reality itself. If this final twist in the quantum plot sent your head spinning, follow the channel and share your vertigo. And remember, in a holographic universe, every mind contains the whole. Every eye is a portal to the infinite. If you made it this far, now you're part of the rare few who refuse easy answers and actually want the truth. And if you want to keep dismantling reality with me and exploring the deeper structure behind everything we think we understand, make sure you're subscribed. Leave a comment with the question that's still bothering you, and let's keep pushing into the silence together.